noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's make us some donuts. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Thursday, everybody. It'll be the Ute Preview Show coming up at 1 o'clock. Hans, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Scotty. I'm in a very good spot, very safe spot, and a spot that might be very familiar to you. I am currently broadcasting from Jerome, Idaho, and I could not be more excited to be here.
There's nothing safe about Jerome.
Do you know the Flying J just off the Jerome exit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
right
doing
in that area.
Wait a minute, you're doing the show at a Flying J?
You're darn right I am.
Oh, I
because,
love it, man.
You know what? We do what we got to do to bring sports to the great people of Utah.
I love it, man. I love it. Dude, go get yourself some chicken fingers, a little sweet and sour sauce.
Oh, it's got the full spread. They've got 5 built-out pizzas that are cooked and ready to serve up a slice. They've got all the fried food selections.
Oh yeah, man! Flying J's, they don't mess around. I'm a big fan. Back in the day when I used to live in Tooele, and I was not concerned about the LBs whatsoever. I would drive into work, and the Flying J there had a breakfast pizza, and it was like sausage gravy with heavy cheese and sausage on a slice of pizza, and I'd grab a slice of that on the way to work 3 or 4 or maybe 5 days a week. And man, I was loving life.
That's a heart attack.
Well, like I said, there's been a lot of work to do to repair some damage. So there's a reason we've had a long year.
I've been eyeballing these hamburger dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I know people out there, they know the hamburger dog, and all it is hamburger that's rolled into a hot dog shape.
Yep.
And it sits on the rollers with the hot dogs, and it drops a bunch of grease, and they're overcooked. But I've been eyeballing them. I'm probably going to hit them, probably break 3 or 4. So
put a little nacho cheese
hamburger
sauce
hot
on them.
dog. Oh, man.
You can do it. Do it right,
It's
man.
so great.
Yeah.
It's fun to be back here in your territory, Scotty. Everybody knows you. I just said, hey, Scotty G said I could plop down here. He said it would be okay. And they said, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna go hit your buddy up at the gas station and get my free frozen beef burrito.
Yeah, all you gotta do is go to the country store down in Declo. Ask for Jay Fox, and Jay will be like, "All right, man. You know Scott? I'll get you that free frozen burrito. It's yours." He get you squared away. Foxy's the man. So yeah, when you get those truckers walking by looking to take their shower with their shower voucher and all that stuff, this is going to be an interesting show to say the least.
Oh my gosh! If you hear me get abducted, if I say watermelon, in fact, if I just yell a fruit,
yeah,
just send help.
Okay.
I really hope you're not abducted in plain sight.
Yeah, I'm kind of ashamed to admit this.
Oh, B.
It's not my most proud moment. It is not my most proud moment.
Oh,
it was right in this area.
Yeah. No, it was not. That was on the other side of the state. Stop it. You leave my side of the state out of this. That's the Rexburg, Idaho
besmirch
Falls.
Pocatello.
Yeah.
That was Pocatello. Yeah, it was in Pocatello.
Yeah, you're going the other way. There. All right. Let's get to it. We got a busy show. Frank Dolce will join us at 1 o'clock for the Ute Preview Show. Always fun to catch up with Frank, who we'll try to get him out of his shell and see if he'll have an opinion or two. Hans is on his way to watch a little volleyball action. Dude, I'm so fired up for you. You're such a proud dad. You got so much good stuff going on in your life right now.
Well, that's fun. I'm headed up to watch Treasure Valley take on a team out of northern Washington. So my daughter is playing her butt off, playing some great volleyball. So it's tough, man. You got to make a day trip if you got to make a day trip, but you got to see these kids play. So
I know.
Headed up to Ontario, Oregon. Only about 3.5 hours away. So once we close up the show, I'll jump in the car. We'll get up there, and we'll get there for 7 o'clock tip time.
I love it, man. And that's the thing. There's you get to a point in your life where you're like, oh, we got lots more kids and lots more events. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, clock's starting to tick here a little bit.
Yep. I'm glad you brought that up, Scotty, because I hope every parent out there that's listening that they know, like, okay, yeah, you feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel and you're just digging out of holes and trying to make money and trying to keep kids in clothes and in sporting programs. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just had a daughter graduate and her eligibility is out. I've got another daughter that's got only 2 years of eligibility left in college after this. My son's a senior. I've got a 15-year-old that's a freshman, and you're starting to look at it like, okay, I might only be another, 4-6 years in sports if my kids really push far out into college sports.
Yeah.
And if you get lucky, then you get one maybe that'll play into the professional realm, professional volleyball or professional football, and then it's done. It's kind of a small window, but you feel like when you're in the mix of it, you feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's never going to stop. You're just always going to be working and dishing money out to sports organizations because it's getting so expensive to raise an athlete.
Yep.
It's almost impossible to raise an athlete now.
Yeah, and frankly, I mean, I'll say this is, my two oldest didn't go the athletic route. They went other routes. My youngest is going into sports and loves it, but I'm telling you, whatever your kid goes into, there's going to be somebody with a handout looking for money. Whether it's debate, whether it's orchestra, whether it's choir, whether it's whatever. There's always somebody there going, gimme, 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 gimme. They're going to get you. They're going to get you somewhere.
And that's what's so incredible about Ron McBride. He raises money for families that absolutely just cannot afford it. And that's what he does. And that's what the Ron McBride Foundation is all about. They raise money and they build activities for kids, for families that cannot afford it. But they still get them the right coaching or the right teaching or, the right things that they can get out there and experience after-school programs so that we're not raising kids with too much time on their hands and no money that are out there doing dumb things. So I love the Ron McBride Foundation for that exact reason because Scotty and Lloyd, as you guys know, it is an expensive proposition raising children.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can't wait for Lloyd. I can't wait for Lloyd to really get hit by it too, because Lloyd, you got your $120 little league fees here and there.
Fall league right now with baseball, yes. Then there's the two of those because there's two leagues that he's playing in.
Yeah, and so and that hurts. I mean, I'm not saying that hurts, but then the older they get,
leagues.
then the super leagues and the traveling leagues, which I'm sure Xavier will be a part of because he's got dad's DNA, so he's gonna be a good player. And and then you'll be like, oh, well, let's second mortage time.
Yeah, I need to talk to Mac because I'm going to need some foundation.
Yeah,
money.
the Lloyd Cole Foundation.
He's got his own separate branch.
We really should start our own foundation, and it just benefits us.
I know. It benefits our kids' sports adventures.
Help us so we can help you.
Yeah.
After school adventure.
You still want
help
the hot
us
takes?
So that our kids,
you need to help us.
Help us so that our kids don't hurt you. We just don't want them to be out there being a menace. That's all we want.
Yeah, it's a 501c3 and it just benefits us. They're like, okay, well, who is this money going towards? Us and our endeavors. Oh,
Scotty, how big of a wreck is Lloyd going to be when he starts paying Super League fees?
Oh my gosh,
because thousands.
Yeah.
That's thousands of dollars, and then it's traveling all over the country. Like I'm watching Scott Brown, who is one of my best friends in this entire world, and his son Dawson Brown is a high level recruit, and he's been a part of the Super League, traveling all over the country. I mean, they go everywhere, and I just know that the travel and the time and the games and hours at the baseball field. I mean, Lloyd, you better really start loving baseball because you and Jess are going to be sitting at baseball games for 5 days out of a 7-day week and probably 4 to 5 hours out of the day. Like it's crazy what these guys go through.
Yeah, buckle up.
Right now it's like 3 days a week, and Saturdays. As you know, we're pretty busy on Saturdays as far as with, college football, pre- and post-game shows. So, I'm not seeing a lot of those right now.
Yeah, that stinks. All right, we got a lot on the plate. Let's get to it. It is time for your starting lineup. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go!
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans, there's an old adage, Vegas knows. And that's an interesting line in regards to the Utah-Oklahoma State game, where Utah was a 2.5-point favorite yesterday afternoon. This morning, they wake up as a 3-point underdog. A massive 5.5, 6-point swing that goes from Utah being favored to Oklahoma State being favored. Now, let's dig into this a little bit because a lot of people aren't really up to speed on how Vegas works. Vegas essentially would love you to just bet on the game. They just want you to bet. So they want to put a line out there that's going to encourage people to bet. But then they also understand that there's storylines that they need to get out in front of. And if they're hearing something along the lines of maybe a certain quarterback not playing for the University of Utah, they will adjust that line very quickly because they know a flood of money is about to come in on one side. Now, look, I don't know if this has anything in regards to Cam. I don't know exactly what would push this line this dramatically. This line doesn't move this much just based on money alone. Now, if a huge amount of money comes in on one side, Vegas will adjust the line accordingly. But to move it 6 points, there's not enough money on this game to move it 6 points. So, or 5.5 points. So, I don't know what's going on here, Hans, but it is a weird line movement to say the least.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on from my point of view. Either Floyd Mayweather or Drake or Mattress Mac came in with a $1.2 million wager that truly did sway the line, as you were talking about. Like there was some type of big money bet, and they're like, oh, boy, we better get some money on the other side of this thing. Holy moly. Sometimes that can really move the dial. I still don't think that's a 5 or 6 point move, but it'll move the dial. I think that they might have got a big money bet. Or, as you mentioned, you're without a major player in that game. And, I just tend to sit back and listen to the insiders. We had Steve Bartle on this show yesterday. And correct me if I'm wrong, Scotty and Lloyd, but I believe Steve Bartle said that it's full expectation to have Cam Rising on the field and ready to go against Oklahoma State.
Correct.
That he would be surprised if Cam Rising was not on the field and ready to go against Oklahoma State. I have not heard anything to the contrary as of this moment. There's nothing that's telling me, other than this Vegas shift, that there could be a potential issue with any type of personnel on this Utah roster. So I tend to believe that it was some type of major money move, or because Scotty, I try to pay attention to these things, and I try to get wind and noise, and I'm not getting any wind or noise. Are you?
Nope, I'm not. But then again, nobody keeps the secret better than Kyle Whittingham and the Utes. So, but if Vegas knows, then I think we would get a little bit of we would get some of the smoke as well. And there's just not a lot of smoke out there in regards to Cam Rising. So
there really is no smoke out there. And I'm not saying that he could miss this game. I'm not saying that. I mean, and I'm not saying that he could potentially not miss this game. Like I think that there's probably possibilities on both sides, but what I'm saying is I am not getting word. I am not hearing, I'm not sensing it, and I'm not sensing it as much from the Utah insiders.
Yeah.
These are the types of things. The reason Steve Bartle is a part of the zone And the reason Steve Bartle joins the Hans and Scotty show is because we look at him as the most trusted Utah insider in the state of Utah. I feel like he's got the best insight. I feel like he's got the best sense of things. And that's why Scotty and I put him on this show. That's why he's writing. And I have not seen any indicators from Steve to the contrary.
Nope.
So I have to believe that Cam Rising is good to go. So, Scotty, I don't know if they sat down and they ran some evaluation or if they got some word on something otherwise, but I do know Boone Pickens Stadium is tough. I know that Utah is number 12 team in the country. Oklahoma State's number 14. I know it's a 2 o'clock kick. I know it's on a major network. I know it is projected as the number one game in the country, number one matchup in the country. And there's a ton of excitement surrounding it. I just can't imagine that this move is based off of Cam Rising's ability to play or not play. But what else would move it like this, Scotty? I mean, you've been watching lines a lot longer than I have.
No, those are the two things. And that's why I laid out. There's two things that'll move a line. Breaking news and huge money. And Vegas, I mean, I've been around a lot of people who, in fact, there was a guy that, I don't even know if I could tell this story, but there was a guy who covered the Jazz and was a reporter. He worked for a very reputable media source out of Las Vegas. And all of a sudden, this dude, and this was like, I want to say 15 years ago. This was not recent. This was like 14, 15 years ago. And this guy was all of a sudden at every shoot around and was at every practice and was with the team every step of the way. And there were some people in the Jazz organization that did some background on him and said, this is kind of weird, guy from Vegas. And they felt like this dude's motives weren't 100% on the up and up, that he may be trying to feed information, and they immediately shut it down and revoked his credential and booted him out. And that was just under some thought that he might, be up to no good without any real true evidence that he was. And so that's how serious Vegas is. Like, Vegas is going to do whatever they can to get whatever kind of information that they can possibly glean to try to make sure that they have the right line and they stay up to speed on everything, so that when the news does break, if it does break, that they're out in front of it and that line moves ahead of time, so that they don't get caught with their pants down and end up losing a ton of money. So,
wow.
I'm just saying, I'm with you, man. I'm not saying he is playing. I'm not saying he isn't playing. I haven't heard anything to the contrary that he's not playing, but I'm with you. That would take multiple $1 million bids for that bets for that line to move like that. 6 points does not happen that easily.
It would, and just to get a little bit deeper into the weeds on the money movement or the line movement, there's nothing on Oklahoma State's side of things that has been announced or that was a possible late addition that makes you feel any more comfortable about them.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about a Utah subtraction that would give Oklahoma State a better chance. But the other thing you look at is, okay, did Oklahoma State have an addition? No, their quarterback's been healthy. Their running back's been healthy. Their defense is the same defense, and their defense is not that good.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of questions. I mean, we'll really jump into the look of Oklahoma State's defense in the Utah preview show with Frank, but this defense has a lot of gaps. They give up a lot of passing yards. They give up a lot of rushing yards. They gave nearly 400 yards of offense to Tulsa. And it's not like they've played the who's who of a football schedule. South Dakota State put 20 points on them. Arkansas put 31 points on them. Tulsa put up 350 or 360 yards off the top of my head. And so their defense, it's not like they're getting, all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, Ryan Urlacher's kid is ready to go, the Notre Dame. Like, it's Oklahoma State hasn't gotten anything that would make me think, oh, yeah, well, that would give them a much better chance against Utah. So there's a lot of confusion in regards to why this line would shift as dramatically as it's shifted. But I have got no return from anybody that would tell me that Cam Rising's out of this game. But Scotty, you're right too. I think every program does a great job of closing their mouth and making it really difficult to get any information, and that's great. Glad they do it because they need every competitive advantages they possibly can get, especially in a game like this. But I think that would be too big a news.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get that, and somebody's going to have it, and somebody's going to tip it off.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yep. All right, Hans and Scotty. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's game week for the Utes, and the Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. After a road win against Utah State, Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road for their Big 12 showdown as they square off against Oklahoma State. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Ute football. Then catch the Ute pregame show this Saturday at 1 with the postgame show immediately following the game. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your home for the best college football coverage in Utah is on the KSL Sports Zone. Ready? The Aggies head east to Philadelphia for a big non-conference battle against Tempo. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're going to kick off your Ute preview show coming up at 1 o'clock. Frank Dolce will come by. We'll hang out with him and get his thoughts on the Cam Rising situation as well. Will he or won't we? We all anticipate he will, but maybe Vegas knows something else with that line movement. Hans, I know you spent a lot of time breaking down that Utah State-Utah film. Now that you've had a chance to look at the Aggies a little bit, what were your impressions from what you saw from Nate Dryling's crew in that game?
Well, I think they're going to win a lot of games. And that's my first impression. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I think that they've got plenty of talent, and I think that they were playing out of their minds. But you had some spectacular catches, some incredible grabs. You had some great scheme. You know, there were multiple plays that I thought scheme-wise really caught Utah. So I like that. I like the fact that the game planned well. I talked a lot about Teague Anderson. Teague Anderson had a challenge in front of him with Van Fillinger. Van is one of the best defensive ends in the country. And that's back-to-back weeks that Teague Anderson, the right tackle, the right offensive tackle for Utah State, has answered the call.
Yeah. And
very good game from him.
And when he doesn't get Van, he gets Logan Fano. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're going to take this one but give you this one. So, really difficult. But I thought he answered the call. I thought that there were some great defensive moments. Number 11 down on the goal line that stopped Utah, made them kick the field goal. Navarez, number 11 defensively for Utah State.
I'm kicking myself here.
And I don't know why the name is slipping my mind.
Yeah, same. I hate it when this happens. Damn it. Sorry, keep going.
He fired through the gap, and looked spectacular. And he did it multiple times. So I like that. Obviously, Faison goes without saying. I think he's going to be the best running back.
By the way, Gabe Peterson.
So I think Faison is going to be the best running back in the Mountain West Conference, and I think Utah State's going to win a lot of games. That's what I think, Scotty. I mean, but then I sent you a text because I spent 3.5 hours watching that game in slow-mo, and I'm conflicted, man. I'm really conflicted. You saw that other video that I sent you of Bryson Barnes?
Yeah.
That throw on the post?
Yep.
That was just – no pressure, way overthrown, and then there was one that was slightly pressured and put on the money. Then there was a beautiful fourth down throw that was essentially the same type of post, but a little bit more movement to the inside on the one he overthrew. But I look at Bryson Barnes, and I'm like, Bryson's going to win you a lot of games in the Mountain West Conference, but it was well said by Coach Dreiling. If Petrus was ready, Petrus is your number one quarterback. And there just aren't a lot of questions. And I'm conflicted on that because Bryson is a gamer, but I also called the Utah versus Northwestern bowl game in Las Vegas last year. I called that game, and Bryson was a disappearing act, and it was hard to watch that offense. I think that they had like 50 yards passing and like a total of 210 or something. It was really rough. So it can go downhill, but what I saw, I see a Utah State team that's exactly what you said. They're loaded with talent.
Yeah. Faison played out of his mind. You saw the tight end Brock Lane. You saw how good he can be. That offensive line's coming together. Jalen Royals, Otto Tia had himself a game as well. Kobe Bowman. These guys all came up with big catches. Royals, I anticipate. I don't know if he'll be back this week, but he's not going to be out for long. If he is, I think there's a good chance he plays on Saturday. That's me speculating, but I think there's a good chance he plays. But if he doesn't, they've got a bye after this week before Boise State, so I would be shocked if he's not in the lineup for that Boise State game. Kyrese White, another player that I know is got banged up, took a nasty shot, clean hit, but a nasty hit, and he left the game. But I think he's going to fight like crazy to be back out on the field. So coming out of those two games against USC and Utah, I think Utah State's in a pretty good place injury-wise. Could have been a whole lot worse. I still have visions of that LSU game from a few years ago when they went to LSU in early October and just got beat up physically, mentally, and they were never the same after that game. I don't get that sense after this two-game stretch with USC and Utah.
Which is a stacked two-game stretch, man. And for them to hold up in it tells me a lot about them. But, Scotty, I think about Utah State's situation, and I worry about it. And I worry about it outside of our show. I worry about Utah State away from doing any type of sports radio or having concern for any Aggie fans. I worry about Utah State with the Mount West Conference and their current collapse with Boise State and others pulling out and leaving them high and dry, and then different lawsuits coming from all different angles, whether it's from Jerry Bovee or coming from Blake Anderson to the higher-ups with the president and the athletic director, and where things stand with them and how they feel about things, and are they the right to take you into this world of unknown now that the Mountain West Conference is collapsing. And I think about Utah State a lot because they are a foundation of the state of Utah.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of love and respect for Utah State, and I want the best for them in every scenario, Scotty. And I just feel like there's so much unknown that this is not the right time to have any type of controversies or any type of lawsuits or any type of firings or interim coaches. Like, this is the time where you need to have the best athletic director in the conference, and you've got to have a head coach that's established. So everybody's like, well, of course. I mean, wherever we go, this is an easy staple. We put them in. It's the Utah State Aggies. And I worry about it, Scotty.
I think that, look, I'm really close to the situation, and I've got to be careful about what I say, and I understand that because I'm privy to things that a lot of people aren't. But I will say that I think that fear and concern is warranted to a certain degree, and it's not because of the inadequacies of anybody involved. There's just a lot of exterior forces that could go against you that you really have no control over. And there's a lot of things that you can control that you need to make sure you have dialed in. There's been this black cloud above this school and this athletic department, in particular the football program, for a long time, and it's got to be better. And whether you feel like the administration overreacted in terms of what they did in regards to firings and who they let go, that can certainly be up for debate. But the fact is, things had to change, and the perception had to change. And when you've got the Department of Justice breathing down your neck, you have to take things seriously. And so, do I agree with all the moves? No, I don't. But do I understand that there had to be significant action that had to take place? Yeah. And so, that's why people get paid big bucks, is to try to figure out how to change the perception, how to change the reality, the toxic environment that seemed to persist up there. If you read the DOJ report, there were some things that just, frankly, were unacceptable. And it's totally understandable why people really felt like drastic changes needed to be made. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Utah State's got to win. They've got to win at a high level. They've got to make statements, because never is it more important for you to be good on the field than it is right now, because you need to show worth. And you can't change the fact that you're in Logan, Utah, up in Cache Valley. You can't change the fact that it's not easy to get to. You don't have an airport up there that has a commercial ability. You can't change the weather. You can't change the TV market. You can't change any of that. But what you can do is put a product out on the field or the court that are going to win games and say, hey, we need these guys to be a part of what we're doing because they bring a competitive edge. We need these guys to be a part of what we're doing because they play really good football and they play really good basketball. And that's what's ultimately going to be the deciding factor, is the value you bring on a week in and week out basis. That is ultimately what it's all going to come down to.
It is, man. And you asked me right out of the gates in this segment, how do I think, or how do I feel about Utah State? And I'm watching number 5, I believe it's Autotia, if I'm not mistaken. I'm watching number 5 hit route after route, and I really like, I think it's Jack Hestera?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Number 14.
He had a couple of incredible grabs, including that quick slant for the touchdown. He kind of files into double coverage off that quick slant for that touchdown. That was awesome. And then he had a one-handed grab down the sideline that was complete circus act. And the catch by Brock Lane, the 20-yard catch by Brock Lane was incredible. And I'm not even getting to Jalen Royals yet. Like, Jalen is just special. So you've got this receiving core that's incredible. You got Rashul Faison. You've got an offensive line that's clicking and working. I think that they go to Temple. I'm hoping they go to Temple and have a statement game so that they can all feel reassured with each other, because this is an 0-3 Temple team. It's not a bad Temple team. It's not a terrible football team. It's just an 0-3 Temple team that's going to be on the road, that I think that everybody's going to get in the hotel. They're all going to hunker down. They'll do their walkthroughs. They'll share their meal. They'll all be close together for the weekend, and hopefully they find something that galvanizes them, because all the noise outside of that football office is stupidity.
Yeah.
It is just stupidity. And when you're trying to build a product around ridiculous things that are happening, and you're like, wait a second, I'm not the one that's doing this. I'm the one that's working out. I'm bench pressing, I'm squatting, and then I'm going out, I'm practicing, and I'm still trying to keep my grades up, and I'm out here on the road against Temple, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's all you can do. But you're looking around like, why is there so much noise? It's just horrible, and it's got to stop. And I know that it's probably going to get a little worse before it gets better. It's just a bummer that they're dealing with this type of noise right now, because I do love this coaching staff. Mm-hmm. I love them, man. I think that they're tremendous guys. And now this is when they've got to lock it in, and they've got to show that they're tremendous coaches as well, because you're not going to find better men.
No.
They're truly great men. I've gotten to know them really well, and they're truly great men.
Hans and Scotty, 1246. Coming up next, what you may have missed. Then at 1 o'clock, Frank Dolce will roll in here, and we'll give you your Ute preview show, getting you ready for Utah and what should be just an absolutely fun game as they hit the road and really square off against an Oklahoma State team that is going to be, let's just be honest, that place is going to be a madhouse in Stillwater. So we'll break it all down for you beginning at 1 o'clock. Hans and Scotty, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
The statistics tell you that Jake Retzloff getting the job done at quarterback. I know, missed some throws. I know the turnovers. My gosh, I know some of the risky stuff he's doing and some of that stuff. Like, dude, you're not Brett Favre. Like, chill out, man. Like, just take care of the ball and do what you have to do. We still need to see him against Kansas State, against Baylor, on and on and on. But through 3 games, which is all we have to go on, you look at him statistically, and I'm being objective here. I was critical. I didn't think he was going to win the starting job. This is coming from somebody who didn't think he was going to win the starting job. I'm looking at it after 3 games. I'm like, this is exactly what you needed to get out of the quarterback position.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Sports Zone. It's the first Big 12 battle for the Utes as they head to Stillwater for a showdown against Oklahoma State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Sorry, Lloyd. I'm trying to got the new laptop. I'm trying to get my Outlook up here. It's not where it normally is. Yeah, you want to give away some tickets?
Yeah, how about we give some RSL tickets? Right now, caller 12 at 801-575-ZONE wins a pair of tickets to see RSL take on Portland on September 21st at America First Field.
There you go. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. Hans, I can't believe you're having problems with your hotel in Jerome. That's stupid.
Yeah. I can't speak it too loud, but yeah. Yep. Because I'm actually sitting right here in the lobby.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I should be in a room, but
yes,
take what we're able to get, and without complaining.
Yes,
out loud.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't want to get you into trouble, but my goodness,
come on, you said it well. This is not the Aria on New Year's Eve in Vegas. All right.
Yes, you're Jerome freaking Idaho. Come on.
There's 2 cars in the parking lot.
You just,
sure.
yeah. I think you should just
I'm
be
sure
grateful
early
that
check-in is okay.
They should be grateful you're not coming in there like, hey, what's the hourly rate? Come on.
Yeah, because that's what they're used to.
Yeah, exactly.
But
jeez, calm it down over there. People
but
going on power
trips. We're doing
trips.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing good.
By the way, your guy, your old teammate, Steve Sarkisian, are we seeing the transition here? As he has announced, Arch Manning will be the starting quarterback for Texas, and what you may have missed. Now, Quinn Ewers still banged up, and that's what Sark says is that, hey, look, Quinn's still our guy, but here's the thing. When you there's Wally Pipp, and then there's Arch Manning, and when you let Arch Manning get a little bit of a foothold, and he goes out there and he'll play well, and they've got Louisiana Monroe, and no disrespect to John Hartwells, who's the now athletic director out there, but that's going to be an easy win. He's going to put up big numbers. He's going to look great. And then if Quinn Ewers comes back, that first interception he throws back in that lineup, oh boy, all those Texas fans are going to want that Manning, legacy under center.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get that chance. I don't think he'll even get the chance to come back and throw the pick. I think that they're going to find every reason. When Manning takes the field and goes 9 of 12, completes 75%, goes for 250 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then has an insane run.
Yeah.
He had that 67-yard run for a touchdown. He had another 2 carries on top of that just to get out of the pocket and extend it a little bit. I don't think he's going to get the chance. Now, Arch might come in and he might underperform. I can't see that happening. But as you mentioned, you got UL Monroe, and then you got Mississippi State. And Mississippi State is off to a really bad start. So my guess is he'll beat the trash out of UL Monroe, and you'll probably see the third-string quarterback come in the third and fourth quarter of UL Monroe, and then he'll trash Mississippi State. And if he does that, then they're going to have the confidence in him to take on number 15 Oklahoma. And if if you see the confidence against Oklahoma, then that's the big matchup next, Scotty. That's number 2 Georgia versus number 1 Texas on October 19th. And the entire country is going to be watching, once again, a Manning get behind center and do his thing. And it's some of the early looks of his athleticism, but he's got the Manning over-the-top release.
Yeah.
But he's got the athleticism that it is not Eli.
No, it's not Peyton. Nope.
It's a next level type maneuvering and ability. So I don't think yours gets another shot. As terrible as that is to say, he had to have known that, right? Like he knows.
I think as soon as you left that game with that injury, you got to be thinking to yourself, "Oh boy, because they'll give him an easy out. They'll say, you know what, the injury was worse than we thought, and we're going to have to sit him down for the season so that, you know, he won't hurt his draft stock or anything like that. Because he's still a really good quarterback. Quinn Ewers is really good. He's just not the future.
In his 2 years as the starter in 22 and 23, he's over 6,000 yards, and he's got 37 touchdowns through the air.
Yeah.
6,000 yards, 37 touchdowns through the air to 12 interceptions, and took Texas a long way last year and has a ton of faith, and he's a junior, so I don't know. I mean, obviously draft eligible. I don't know if he then transfers. I can guarantee you this. There's no way Ewers and Manning are a part of this team next year.
No.
Like both of them.
Yeah.
Like it's one or the other because they're both great quarterbacks. But, you know, Manning's been waiting for the chance. And I can hear Peyton telling him right now. I can hear it. Peyton's like, just wait for your shot.
Yep.
Keep your mouth shut. Wait for your shot. You know, they didn't want to make a big deal of NILs and collectives, and they were waiting for these $1 million paydays until he actually did something in college football because they didn't want it to be the Manning story of, well, you did nothing and you got paid everything. And I promise you that family's sitting back saying, you're going to get a chance.
Yep.
And when you get the chance, never give it back.
Yep.
Because that's their belief. And this is going to be an interesting one to watch.
Hans and Scotty. Hans is on his way to watch a little volleyball with his daughter coming up tonight. He'll be back with you tomorrow as we'll have a Football Friday with Ron McBride and Alema Harrington. Frank Dolce is going to join us next for your Ute preview show. Adam's with us from Beehive Mills. And Hans, I'm telling you, man, there's nothing better than these Beehive Mills. You walk into your home after that thing's been in a slow cooker, you get hit with that wave of whether it's the pot roast or whether it's the cordon bleu or whether it's pork chops, whatever. It is just incredible, Adam, what you're building there. Sorry. Go ahead, Hans.
Oh, it's just great. And you mentioned the tortilla soup. Like, the tortilla soup is just incredible. But what I want people to understand, this is how it's really changed Amanda and I's life. It is a crock pot pre-prepared meal, but it's still hearty and it's still healthy. It's fresh chopped ingredients. It's uncooked meats. It's nothing overly processed. It's like really good, hearty, wholesome food. And you put it all in a crock pot and you set it, you walk away. But when you come back, you've got this great home-style meal. And Adam, I think just the simplicity of it has been one of our favorite things. Just outside of the flavor of the food, the simplicity has really changed things.
Yeah, that's our goal. Make it as easy as possible, as economical as possible. Really, where we'll do the meal prep, all you have to do is throw it in a slow cooker, wait a few hours, and then you're ready to go. And as Scotty was saying, it's home cooked. Like, we want to make home cooked dinner as easy as possible. And then, Hans, you mentioned the soups as well. So you mentioned chicken tortilla soup. We have a soup menu out right now. We actually had a last call email go out for September soup. So we'll have a September or a October soup, but as far as this current menu, which every month is different, this current menu, which has summer corn chowder, chicken tortilla soup, lemon chicken orzo soup, chicken pot pie, cowboy beef chili, plus 5 others, that menu will only be available until next week, just because we've got to move on to the next month after that. I love the subscription model, and I love the fact that every month you get new variations.
And the same thing with the soups. And look, people love those soups. September, October, those are huge soup months. And boom, you'll have a whole unveiling pretty soon. I mean, this is going to be like a big event every month where you're like, all right, here's our debut coming up for October. And it's going to be fun, man.
No, it is. And to us, it's always exciting as well to see what's on next month's menu. The next October's menus will be released next week, but maybe we'll do a tease.
There you go.
I can show it to you next segment.
I love it. Yeah, let's do it. Hans and Scotty, but get there now. BeehiveMills.com. Use the promo code ZONE. It's going to save you $12.80. You sign up for the subscription. That'll give you another 10% off. It's all available for you right now at BeehiveMills.com. This is all fresh. It's all delivered right to your house, and all you have to do is throw it in the slow cooker, and you're good to go, folks. It's that simple. BeehiveMills.com. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.